Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wall Street from Main Street podcast. My name is Mo Dawoud, and today's special guest is Ziad Abdelnour. He is the president and CEO of Blackhawk Partners. He's also an author of a book called Economic Warfare. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Well, today's topic I want to discuss is your investing philosophy. I know you're a follower of Austrian economics, and with all the QE and money printing and currency war that's going on around the world, along with the stimulus and higher taxes, it's just a lot of uncertainty in the economy and the stock market. Have you found it difficult for you as an investor since 2008 financial crisis to invest?
No, I don't really find it difficult. I find it more challenging. You're going to have to do extra homework and find where the gems are. And it's all hard work. If you understand the basics of finance and economics, you can navigate through the maze that's out there. It's just doing your due diligence, working harder. You're not going to get a free ride anymore. Some asset classes you want to avoid, and other asset classes you want to focus on.
So you said you have to do extra homework. So what have you done? What do you have to do now that you didn't have to do?
I mean, number one, the stock market, I'm very bearish. It's all rigged. So the philosophy of Warren Buffett of buying and holding stock doesn't work anymore. So you're going to have to change that. This is a philosophy that's been there for years. If you buy real estate and hold it, it's going to appreciate in value. If you buy stocks and hold them, it's going to eventually appreciate in value. All this philosophy of buying assets and holding them for a long time in days and times like this, like we are witnessing these days, does not hold anymore. So that's for a starter. Number two, investing, just trying to follow the brand name investors because they have a brand name and they invest right and smart doesn't work anymore, because this crisis has shown us that some of the biggest brand names out there are the dumbest investors out there. A lot of sovereign wealth funds lost billions of dollars. Lots of very experienced players lost also billions of dollars. So you can't follow anyone. You just have to do your homework to accommodate your needs.
And when you invest, you have to look at what's going on in macroeconomic situation before you invest. You cannot ignore that part and invest in whatever sector you like. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. You cannot get bogged down in details, and you're going to have to first look at the macro picture, and from there, zero in on the right place. I mean, absolutely. This stays on. I mean, look, it's a whole different philosophy and approach. It's a different landscape. I'm bearish on stocks, on bonds. Forget about bonds. I mean, this is disaster in the making. On real estate and all that kind of stuff. You have to be in the commodity sector. Oil, gold bullion. And you know what? Now a lot of people are saying that. I've been saying that for 3-4 years, since before 2008.
And you mentioned a lot of people that the big names that are not doing very well investing. And why do you think that is? Do you think they don't understand how the economy is going forward, or they don't understand what is happening in the economy?
No, it's not that they don't understand. It takes time for people to change, to change because they think that, a lot of people still live in the past. They think things are okay, we're getting out of a recession, the U.S. is a superpower, is the only superpower. The U.S. is bankrupt. The U.S. is not the sun anymore, it's a planet among many others. We want to dictate our foreign policy, our economic policy to the world, and our house is in a real mess. So who's going to listen to us? And because of the arrogance of a lot of people, Americans, especially these supposed elite, they think they run the world, they think they know it all. Well, it shows that they don't. All what they've done is wrong. All the policies are wrong. Foreign policy, fiscal policy, monetary policy, investment policy. If not, we would not be in that mess. And no one is challenging them, not even the media, who's trying to cozy up to them, telling them and the whole world how smart and how right they are. The guys who did the mistakes, who did the huge mistakes, are still running the country, both on the economic level, on the foreign policy level. It's a disaster in the making, and it's going to happen. You know, the bubble is going to burst, and then they're going to realize, all of them, how wrong they were. And it's going to be a rude awakening for the people. Read Economic Warfare, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Now, I want to get your insight on what you think is going to happen in the economy going forward in 2013, especially in people on Main Street who, you know, mostly hit hard by whatever happens in the economy. Either they're not aware or not very educated on how the economy works. So what should they look out for in 2013 going forward?
Look, you're gonna have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because the worst is going to happen. We're going to have 4 very, very difficult years, given the policies of the Obama administration. Much more taxes, much more regulation, much more supervision, much less opportunities to make money. We are in the era now of wealth bashing instead of wealth creation, diminished expectations. You know, I mean, this is the tone now. Should you be depressed? Of course not, because even in times like this, you can make money, but you're going to have to do your homework, not being swayed by the public, not being swayed by the brand names, and trying to outsmart the people who run the show. And there is look, money is really made when you have blood on the street. Fortunes are made when blood is on the street. Fortunes are not made in normal, regular times, where it's a steady, you know, income for everybody. Everybody's riding the curve in normal times and making some money. But I'm not talking about obscene money. Obscene money is made when you have real dislocations in the market, and these dislocations are coming soon, as you will see.
And now, you mentioned before that the era of buy and hold is done. Now, do you believe the investors on Main Street should not buy and hold anymore as well, since the boom and bust?
I mean, look, it's not a question of should do or should not do. I'm not the oracle of New York like Buffett to dictate to people what they should or should not do. Everyone has different needs. You know, I mean, everyone has different needs. Everyone has different expectations, etc. I am not the kind of investor who buys and holds. Look at Apple. Look at those guys who thought they're going to buy Apple and hold it for years, forever. Apple is never going to be the same company. You know, and I say it again and again, it's all a people's business. There is no 2 Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs turned Apple in where it is today. Unless you find another Steve Jobs, it's not going to be the same company. So if you're going to be, how can you be so pessimistic? Well, this is a fact. This is a fact, and you will see. Mark my words. You know, it's all run by people. I look for exceptional people. I don't look for companies. I don't invest in companies, in trends, in industries, in hot technologies. I invest in people. I back people. I try to find the smartest people out there who are true rebels in the way they think, the way they build businesses, who can execute ruthlessly and flawlessly. That's what it takes. Business is war. This is not a question of, this is a hot industry. I don't invest in industries or technologies or geographies or anything like that. And as long as people don't realize that this whole process is run and managed by people they're gonna be hurt.
Now, as an investor, I find it difficult to find a good management team that knows how to run a company and do well for the shareholders. Have you found
You're not
that?
doing enough homework. You can find them. You're not doing enough homework. If I can find them, you can find them. We have access more to the same information out there. It's just how you gather the information, how you look for it, etc. Today, the internet is the great equalizer. Access to information is for everybody. Some people find it, dig it, and build on it. Others can't, or won't, or don't. So information is out there available to everyone. How do you find it? How do you build on it? How do you strategize to build your portfolio, your company, your holdings, your investment strategy to fit your needs? There's nothing, there's no information I have that you don't have. But I know where to look and how to look. I know how to interview people, etc. That's what it takes.
Yeah, I agree. The internet has a great wealth of information for any investors who want to look into.
Exactly. It's not like in the 60s or 70s where people didn't have access to this information, and there's a handful of money managers, portfolio managers who did this. And then, the world is becoming more uncertain. The fiscal policies, economic policies, political policies of the whole world are changing. Look at Europe, look at Asia, look at the bordering Middle East, with Iran, Israel, all the kind of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of problems in the making. So how do you look at that? How do you analyze all this from a geopolitical point of view, geoeconomic point of view, not just from what's happening in the U.S.? We have to get out of the whole thing about the U.S. is the center of the world. It's not. The U.S. is becoming less and less the center of the world because of the economic policies we're following, because of the mess that we are in. We have to look globally, the global village. I look at where the armies are moving. That's how you make money. You look at the movement of armies around the world, the flow of oil around the world. This is how you have to start thinking strategically. Not because, and plus, you see the activities of the Fed, of this guy, Bernanke, at the head of the Fed. He's a disaster. Disaster.
And that's a great point. Now, I want to shift gears here and talk about the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve have rolled out QE3 and QE4 last year, and in QE3 they are agreed to buy $40 billion of mortgage-backed securities. Do you think the Federal Reserve is trying to create another bubble in the housing market by lowering the interest rate in the mortgages?
They have created another bubble. It's happening every day. Look what's happening. The dollar is worthless. The dollar has depreciated 94% in the last 100 years. 94%. It's all a house of cards. They're trying to delay this. Well, they can't delay. They're put in a corner. They can't do much. They have less and less clout. And now they want to increase the debt ceiling, from 16 to, 20, 23, whatever number they're talking about. And Obama is saying, you know what, if we increase the debt ceilings, we're not going to spend the money just to have, the ease, to know that we have a bigger debt ceiling. It's crazy, because if the government does this, they're going to spend the money and get to that debt ceiling again. They're going to hit it again. It's like, it's simple. You can't give the power to the government to keep. Hold on.
So, I agree with you. There's a major capital misallocation still going to the housing market, even after the housing bubble burst in 2008. I still see a lot of people buying houses rather than buying, gold and silver to protect their purchasing power. So there's still a lot of capital misallocation going into that industry.
Yes.
Is it due to a mentality thing that real estate is the best investment out there, or is it that and the government is still pushing people to buy a home by subsidizing the mortgage market?
Yeah, look, everything the government does is wrong. everything. There should be minimal involvement of the government because they have no idea what they're doing. Absolutely no idea. And they're encouraging people to do the same. They don't know anything about business, about economics, etc. I really think the biggest moron in economic history is John Maynard Keynes. Keynesian economics doesn't work. I studied it thoroughly. We're still relying on a guy who came with this theory in the 1930s and 40s. That's 70 or 80 years ago. And still relying on him like if his words are the words of the Messiah. The guy doesn't know nothing about. Every time we relied on the liberal economics and John Maynard Keynes economics, we screwed up. And all this screw up is because of him. I mean, it's very simple. There has to be some radical changes. If not, we're going to hit the wall. And we're hitting it very soon. Radical changes. This is total incompetence out there. You know, relying on the John Maynard Keynes economics, relying on the progressive economics, having all this involvement of the government in our daily lives, having this billions and trillions of dollars of expenses of spending, with that there's no tomorrow, wanting to increase that ceiling, it's all the market, the stock market, forget about it. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's a big joke. It's a big circus. Total circus. Go analyze the numbers and see this. I've done a lot of work on that. It is a total circus, and people are falling for it.
Yeah, I agree with you that the Keynesian economic has failed. If you look at what they've done since 2008, they implemented so many of his philosophy.
And I don't believe in bailouts. This is the most stupid things out there. You can't bail people out. You know, there's a thing in the United States whereby you have Chapter 7 and Chapter 11. Chapter 11 is reorganization. There's no country in the world that has reorganization except the United States. You know, I mean, you can't give second chances. If people fail, they fail. They will learn. They will not do these mistakes anymore. You cannot have a capitalism with a safety net. There is no gap. They want to limit your upside and they want to bail you out on the downside. It doesn't work. Capitalism is capitalism, the survival of the fittest. If you make a bet and you make $1 billion, nobody has the right to take to tell you, oh, you made too much money, you know, that's not fair. You took the risk of doing that. But on the other hand, if you screw up, you make $1 billion and you make a bet and lose $1 billion, nobody here should bail you out. This is your fault, your mistake. I believe in the power of the individual. You have to give him. This is how he will learn. People learn not from their successes, but from their failures. We are basically trying to tell people who failed, don't worry, you can fail again. There is no room for that. You can't fail again. You have to learn what to do to succeed and not try to compensate the failure. Very simple.
You know, I've told people the exact same thing you just said, and their reaction would be, well, if we didn't bail out AIG and a bank, we would be in a Great Depression again, and it would be even worse.
They don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. We cannot be they have no clue. They're just listening to the media and the press, who doesn't know crap also. First, we wouldn't be $16 trillion in debt if you do that. Very simple. We are in it's not like, listen to me, they think it will be worse. We are going to be worse. Wait a couple of years and see the explosion of the bubble and this debt that keeps increasing. It's coming. The more we keep postponing the problems to facing them, the bigger the bubble, the burst is going to be. And it's coming. All what we've been doing, these guys have been doing, is postponing the inevitable. Because they want to stay in power, they want to run in office, they want to all that kind of stuff. It's not that we're out of the world. You know, we are still in the middle of it all. Nothing is out. We haven't resolved anything. We haven't fixed anything. We haven't put all the incompetent thugs in jail. No Wall Street executive has been jailed. So nothing has been done but talk and rhetoric and trying to appease the masses and talk to them about the big American dream and exceptionalism, all this crap. Nothing happened. Nothing has been fixed. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and this country was founded on entrepreneurs and businessmen, and for this country to continue to grow, we need more entrepreneurs creating jobs and creating wealth and capital. We don't need more bailout and stimulus and government work and public work.
Look, at the end of the day, everybody today is obsessed about job creation. They are on the wrong track. The key is not job creation. The government job is not to create jobs. The government job is to create an environment that's conducive for wealth creation. Once you create more wealth in the private sector will go and create more jobs. Give an example. Today there's 5 million plus millionaires in America. I'd like to see a president or some leader saying, my mandate over the next 4 to 8 years is to create 20 million millionaires. How do we go from 5 to 20? Think about all the policies of a government geared towards creating more wealth to the private sector, more millionaires. Then the issue about job creation will get resolved on its own. That's how you solve the issue of wealth creation, of job creation, by creating more wealth. Today we're doing exactly the reverse. We're bashing wealth as being a bad thing. Wealth creation is not bad. Yes, there has been some rotten apples. They went to jail, like Madoff and others. There are other rotten apples out there. They should go to jail. But you don't blame a whole system of capitalism and wealth creation because of a few rotten apples. We are a nation of extremes. We go either to the extreme right or to the extreme left. There should be a balance in between. And the wealth creators who make this country have to be rewarded, not scorned and harassed and overtaxed and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't do good for anyone. It's you know what? And at the end of the day, it's not a zero-sum game. I win, you lose, or you win, I lose. No, it has to be a position where it has to be a win-win for both the government and the wealth creators. This is not an adversarial position whereby I'm the government, you're the wealth creator, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. It doesn't work like that. Nobody has to feel that he is losing. Everybody has to win towards a common goal.
And that's a great point. And I'd like to thank you for joining us for Wall Street from Main Street podcast. If people want to find out more about what you do, where can they go?
They can go to they can go on Amazon and order the book Economic Warfare. They can check our website at blackhawkpartners.com, which is my business. They can check our nonprofit organization, the Financial Policy Council .org. So, you know, I mean, it's all over the web.
Ziad Abdelnour, thank you for joining us for Wall Street from Main Street podcast. I hope you can come back again another time.
It would be my pleasure, Mo.